know this is our story, but applaud to him too for just like being
Stepping in.
alive.
Thank you, Bob.
I know I'm always answering the phone, but I'm growing, man, and like I really appreciate you for real. So like you're a part of this story just as much as anybody else here, like for real. No, that's another story. Another story for another day, but I'll tell y'all. That'll be for the wedding. I accidentally set you up, so that'll be another thing. But yeah, no, we split apart, and it was hard. You know what I mean? It was hard for her. I think for me, like I was really just focused on like trying to finish college and trying to start to like make something for myself in this world. So I was just like kind of focused on what I needed to do, and it was hard. It was hard for her and a lot of her friends and stuff like that. And then a year passed, and we're like in contact, but it's kind of back and forth. Yeah, let me do this. Yeah.
Explain it first.
I'll explain it first, and I'm just gonna be. Want me to tell the real story?
Like, don't put on the front street.
Okay, I'll get this point. But basically, after that, we're kind of like, she's like, I'm done with you. Like, if you're not gonna take me serious, And then I was like, okay, like shoot. And I knew, no matter what we were going through, I knew I wanted to have her in my life for the rest of my life. I just couldn't I don't know. Sometimes, when you feel like you need to figure yourself out, or for just like a reference is like being a Christian, like tried in the fire. Like sometimes you need to go through hard things alone.
You were in a transition.
Yeah, I was in a transition that I didn't really understand what I was going through, and I didn't want to bring her along with things that I was struggling with. So things that I did before we got back together, like I went to therapy. Like I wanted to make sure I'm healthy as possibly can be. I'm not perfect, but I wanted to make sure I was prepared to be in a healthy relationship. So fast forward, this is probably 2 or 3 months, a month before I asked her to actually be my girlfriend. This is in, May? This is in May, right? So Rebecca's birthday is in May, and she went on vacation. And I basically found out some bad news that happened. Not bad news, but basically, she was like, okay, if you're gonna just do you, I'm gonna do me type of stuff. Nothing crazy happened, but I think at a moment I was very upset, and I think it felt like we were done in a moment that I was like, wow, I could really lose her. And I was so upset. I remember it was yesterday. I was driving past Drake, going towards, I don't even remember where I was going towards somewhere in West Des Moines. And I got off the phone and I was so mad, and I was like, you ever be mad and crying at the same time? And for me, at that point in my life, I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that I cried. So to me, be that emotional about someone, I was like, dang, why am I so mad? So I was mad. I was crying, I was in a movie, when they be banging on the steering wheel. Why? You know what I mean? So I had one of them moments, and I'm driving. I'm so upset. I'm so mad. And then,
This is yours.
the first thing I see, because I think I stopped the car for a second. The first thing I see when I lift my head up is I see a license plate with this on it, and I'll let you guys see what this says.
I was there for the story.
So the license plate says Rebecca on it, right? So in the midst of me being very upset with her and mad and dang, what am I gonna do? I look up and the first car I see has Rebecca's name on it. And I don't believe in coincidences like that. That was really God ordained. Hey, please get up, wake up right now. And so seeing that, I was I always knew. But this was okay, it's time. It's time for you to make this what it needs to be. And then a couple weeks later, I picked her up from the airport. I asked her to be my girlfriend officially. I got like a sign that I made in my room with like cardboard and like some markers and stuff like this. And so I picked her up, and it was like a beautiful moment. Yeah, so it was. I was really excited to do it. I felt like nervous, and I was like, dang, like this is amazing. And you know, that was a beautiful moment. And I think like what I've learned is just being in a relationship, whether you're a man or a woman, like you want to give your partner like confidence. So like I wanted her to be confident that she can trust and feel secure with me, that like I'm gonna take you seriously, you know? And I think for me that was the first step to doing this for the rest of our life. And that's something that I'll look back on forever. It's just when we're old and we have kids, like I'm gonna be like, you remember when I asked you to be my girlfriend at the airport? And it's just gonna be something that like we talk about. And then kind of fast forward till, you know, a year later after that, you know, we eventually get engaged. There's stuff in between, but it's just nothing crazy happened. But just us just kind of getting to know each other. So we get engaged, and last year was last December, which was in Georgia. Most of you probably like saw pictures of it. But you said what? Oh. Rebecca's, and this is the last part of the story, and I'll let y'all kind of but Rebecca's always had this dream to be proposed to on a beach, and so I don't know how long y'all been living here, but there's no beaches in Iowa, so I was like, okay, either I'm gonna propose to her here, or like get creative and actually give her what she wants. And so I was like, okay, I want this to be something that she's always gonna remember, so I'm gonna just figure it out. So this was, I bought the ring in like September-ish, and then I was thinking like, okay, I can propose to her over Thanksgiving, because I usually go visit my family in Georgia in Thanksgiving, and I was like, there may be beaches there, but there was a beach like in Savannah, Georgia, which is about a couple hours away. 4 hours? It was like 3.
Yeah, about 3.
3, yeah. It was like 3 hours. So I made up this whole story. And I was like, hey, babe, like, my mom wants to go to Savannah. She wants us to have, like, this is what I was telling her, basically. Yeah. But it was me kind of orchestrating, like, what I wanted this to look like. So I'm like, hey, babe, my mom wants to kind of have, like, a fake family trip. I'm messing up my own story. A family trip to Savannah where everybody comes together and we get a cabin or whatever. So she's like, oh, okay, that'll be super cool. But in reality, I just needed to find a beach to get on one beach. So we get to Atlanta, and then, you know, have like the first day or so with my family, and then I'm like, okay, let's get on the road. And she's this whole time thinking like, oh, we're just going for a nice family getaway, but the whole time this is like my idea of how I'm gonna propose to her. So we get to Savannah, kind of next day we get there, kind of go to sleep. Next day we go to breakfast, and this whole time I'm like super nervous, like. This is one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life. Like my armpit's sweaty. Like I'm like looking like dang. And also my mother has the ring this whole time because I had to bring it through the airport, and I'm like, you know, I wanted to make sure it's secure and stuff. So we get to the beach where we're going to, and at this time I'm like freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm nervous. I'm like, but I'm excited because I know this is gonna be something that's gonna change our lives forever. So I get out the car and we're about to go to the beach, and my mom tries to like sneak hand me off the ring. She's like, here. And then Rebecca's like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all talking about? And I'm like, no, nothing. And so I put the ring in my pocket and we go down like the boardwalk or whatever. And Tyler low-key kind of gave it away, because I don't know if you remember this, but as we're like walking, he keep looking back like, dang, like what's about to happen, you know, because everybody knows, like my whole family knew I was going to do this, but her obviously. So we get down to the boardwalk, we get on the beach, and like I said, I don't believe that things are coincidences. Like I think when certain things happen, like God is doing that. And so we get on the beach. Mind you, I didn't really have like no marry me thing set up. I was just like, I'm just going to pour my heart out to her and tell her how I feel. And so we get to the beach, and probably about like from right here to like where this like white wall is, like I see a red rose. And I'm thinking like, did someone put this here? Because there's probably like 5 or 6 people. The beach is like empty basically. And then I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy. Then we keep walking, and I see another red rose, like just long red rose sticking up from the sand. So I'm like, this has to be, like, I didn't do this. I didn't put these roses here. So then I'm thinking like, wait, did they set this up? But nobody set it up. Nobody knew where the roses came from because nobody was like proposing or anything before. So just two random red roses in the exact spot, in the exact place that we got there. And so we're walking out on the beach. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. So still nervous. And then we're kind of walking, my family's around. And then I look at her and I tell her like, you know why I brought you here, right? And then that's when I just got on one knee and I was just like, it was a moment that I'll never forget because I feel like a lot of times, you know, a lot of people talk about like being present and like being in the moment, and that's something that people talk about a lot. And in life where we have a lot of things going on, like, you know, stress, you know, personal problems, money, work, whatever that may be, you know, you at it with your best friend, whatever problem, it's hard to just like have moments where you're just there and you're not worrying about anything else. But when I got on one knee, it was like when like the world just like nothing mattered, and I was just like, okay, God, like thank you for just allowing me to be present. I told her how I feel and how much I loved her, and I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. So, yeah, I just, long story, but I just a little bit into like how we met, how we got to where we are now, and obviously we plan on having a wedding, so you know everybody's gonna be there. But just yeah, I wanted to kind of tell you about my heart a little bit. And lastly, just like make sure I get like the whole like theme of our life is just like putting God first, you know. And I think a lot of the times we can try to do things by ourselves, or just, you know, the Bible talks about like, you know, it's very easy to mess up in this world. It's very easy to kind of just do whatever you want and say like, okay, I'm gonna just go do this because I can. And I think loving her and proposing to her was really like a step in faith. And I would just like encourage anybody to do that, like just making sure you're loving God and trusting God. Like I don't know what everybody's beliefs are like here, where your journey is with God, if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God. But the last thing that I'll end with is something that my mom always told me when I was kind of going through my journey in relationship to God. But just like, if you ever don't know who God is, or if you don't ever believe, just ask God to reveal himself to you. And he'll reveal himself to you in your own special way that only you can understand. And you just have to start there, and whatever else he wants to change about you or adjust, like just come with how you are. Like God's not meant to have you perfect. He just wants you to be there and to submit to him, and just, you know. So if y'all ever have any questions, pray to God, ask him to reveal himself to you. And, you know, whatever you want, the desires of your heart, he's going to give it to you. He just wants you to trust him because, you know, he's the creator of this world. Whatever anybody says, none of this happened by accident, no Big Bang, no type of random explosion. Like, all this is created, and just trust in the person who created it all. So, thank y'all again.
13 minutes.
I know you want to say anything at all? Okay. If her voice was better, she would have more words for y'all, but
I know.
she's
We'll get that message in the future. We should get it out. We should get it out because we would like to know why really she find you, how she comes to that conclusion. That really nice to find out.
Yeah, we'll have more speeches to come, and y'all will hear more when the wedding comes, which we're planning for next year, and y'all will all find a date in the near future, in the very near future. But I know like we've been talking a lot. I don't know if anybody else has some quick words that they might want to say, other than like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to